I was diagnosed in 2003 with inflammatory breast cancer. When I was told that, they told me it was a very rare cancer and that generally people don't survive. But I did exactly what I was told, had a double mastectomy, had 60 rounds of radiation, and many, many, many months of chemo. I always think that they got it, and every time I go back, they hadn't gotten it. So I pushed and they radiated me one more time. And with that, I had a huge radiation burn that they kept thinking was going to get better, and it just never did. And it oozed and was unattractive, and it was the size of my right breast, that huge of a hole. In the very center of the hole, it began eating itself away and decaying, and it was just an open wound where I had to dress it. I couldn't go out in public. It was just holding me back. Well, I got an infection in it, and I went to an infectious disease doctor, and she told me that, it's MRSA. I had to learn to do IVs at home, and I was just a permanent patient. And then I went to my doctor, and she said, I have some really sad news. You haven't got an infection or a virus that is like the flesh-eating virus, only it's on the inside. And I don't know how to tell you this, but there isn't anything we can do for you. And so I asked her, well, how long does it take? Are you saying that it's a death sentence? And she said, yes. And you have until Friday. And I questioned her, this Friday? She said, yes. And I said, oh, come on, you're not serious. How do you wrap your head around 7 days? It was Monday. I took a breath, and I didn't cry, and I told her, okay. And I thought to myself, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was told I was going to die, and it devastated me. But this time it was different. It was like, this really is it. This is what I've been anticipating for so long. So I went home, and I told my husband. I called my sister. She flew in from Houston. I told my kids, and we prayed. And I prayed constantly. And I called my doctor back, and I said, isn't there a surgeon? She goes, well, you can call your surgeon, but I've already called him, and there's nothing he can do. So I'm not a quitter. I don't believe in it. If I'm going to die an experimental case for cancer, fine. But don't send me home and tell me you just gotta wait. Because I just can't give up like that. The next morning I received a call from my regular surgeon, and he told me that there was someone that he had played golf with, and he had shared my story, and he was willing to take a look at me. So I said, when? He said, this morning, get over there. So we ended up here at Dr. Miller's office, and he came in like a ray of sunshine. There was no gloom and doom. There was no sad face. He didn't come in with a box of Kleenex. He said, let me take a look at you, girl. And he did, and his smile didn't go away. He said, you've got a bad case, but I think we can try something. And that's all I needed. I just wanted a hope, some sort of hope. So he said, let me see what I can do, and I'll come back and tell you what day your surgery will be. He said, it's going to be kind of major, and we're going to need several doctors in on it. So I waited, and a couple of minutes went by, it seemed, and he came back, and he said, well, I have some good news and some bad news. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, the good news is everybody's on board. Bad news is we can't get it done until Friday. Friday morning, I show up for the surgery. He said it would just be a few hours, and it would be opening my chest, and that he thought maybe one rib was gone, eaten by the virus from the x-ray he had seen just days previous. So I went under. But when I woke up, I found out that they had done extensive surgery. When I woke up, he told us that all of my ribs were gone. So he had cut out my rib cage and gotten rid of it. He used a laser and lasered off all the all of the infection. And he said he couldn't do anything about the cancer, but he did get that terrible, terrible virus. So then he was in the process of having to rebuild me, because if I stood up as what was, my lung would fall out. So I didn't have any skin left, I didn't have any muscle left, I had a gaping hole. So he built me some ribs, and he sewed them to the stump where my ribs used to be. And over time, he took a flap from my stomach and the muscle from my stomach. The best thing is, that Friday expiration date was over, and I made it. And every day I got stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, I still battle cancer, but I don't have to worry about Friday anymore.